Good morning. Good morning. Today is the 2nd of June. It is. It is. I'm hoping it's a good morning for you. I'm hoping that you slept well and you rose up in a good mood. And even though the country just seems to be in utter chaos, I'm hoping that your spirit, that your heart, that your head is in just the thought of love. That's how I woke up this morning. I know that I went to bed the night previously and woke up yesterday troubled. Not so much today. I think the Lord is answering what I need to be addressed. Is that to bring calm upon the country and look at multiple ways of treating a problem. And that's one of the reasons why I thought today I wanted to discuss the whole idea of heal. How do we heal during, our time of a trouble in our basement? We still got some things wrong, but we still need to work towards what healing would mean for us or to us. And so we need to do just that. We need to try to make every effort to heal. Good morning, my nephew Lawson in New York. We want to make that effort of healing. And how do we heal? When we see all the scabs that have been basically pulled off in America, showing and exposing the things that not only are very hurtful, but are crisis oriented, where people say, I've had enough. I've had enough. And so even though I've tried to really continue to focus on us, on the one, I still have to say that we don't live in a world by ourselves. We live with other people. We have, formed connections or even disconnections based on now social distancing, but we still have people that we love, we care about, we appreciate, we acknowledge all those things. And so all those things put in perspective says that we have to not only reach inside, we have to also reach out. And in order for us to reach out, we have to talk about where our hurt is. Good morning, Kathleen. We have to talk about our own hurt. And then we also have to talk about our own healing. And then we really have to look at how do we heal in the process of we seeing other people who may also be hurt. And this is a time right now where I see a lot of hurt in this country. I see so much going on. And because we're in this pandemic, we don't even know the level of closeness that we should have, even though everything pretty much says that we should stay away. And so how do you heal yourself and others in the midst of pandemic, in the midst of being in your basement, and and not realizing how you're coming out or how other people are doing and they're coming out. And so we certainly want to address some of these things. So this morning I thought in talking about heal or healing, it's personal. Everybody's healing is going to be their own process. Good morning, Jennifer. It's going to be our own process of how we look at ourselves and others. And for some of us, it may be easier than others. And it's the same thing with grief. It's the same thing, with sickness. It's the same thing with a project that you have to complete. It's time. It's a process. And it takes so much for some people to do one thing where other people can do it maybe faster, or they do it, slower. It doesn't matter. The thing is that the process is in process. It's working. And so we certainly have to address that. So this morning, I found a poem that I liked by Christine Evangelou. And it says, I carry it with me. And we don't realize how much we do carry with us. Sometimes we're more responsible than others, as I've always said, with my "Are you stuck?" than we are of ourselves. Let me ask that question: Are you stuck? Yes, we are currently all stuck. And we will become periodically stuck throughout our lives on something. Doesn't matter what it is, we will become stuck. But anyway, the poem says, sometimes there is a place where I belong, where an orchestra plays my favorite song. Butterflies gather and birds fly high, a beautiful place in a sunlit sky. I wake and I wonder the land of the free, where souls dance happily and the shore meets the sea. Mermaids chat and whisper the day, and gods of hope are not far away. The place where I belong sits right in my hand. It lies in ocean's blue and drifts of hot sand. I carry it with me for my eyes to see that the place I belong sits within me. What sits within you this morning? What could it be? You know, we see the unrest, we see so many things going on, but what sits in us? That's what we carry with us. It may be that we carry it with us today. It may be that we're going to carry it with us for weeks to come, or it may be years, because I think some of the things that have happened are memorable. They're memorable. They're memorable things that we need to heal from. We need to heal from. So anyway, in our healing, we wanted to break it down like I usually do in talking about to heal. And let me get my little pink glasses. I left them on the table. Hold 1 second. All right, here I am, all in pink and purple today. Okay. I have my cup of confidence on one side and serenity of the other. So hopefully I'll be able to hold it all down for you. So when we talk about healing, it says it's to become sound and healthy again, meaning at some point in time we weren't right. We were hurting. We needed to be operated on. We needed something to be fixed in us. And it talks about it being a cure or being a mend or being remedy or being medicine or being restorative, corrective, and therapeutic. Some of us have had to go to doctors because, our backs were out. We needed a chiropractor, or we needed acupuncture, or we needed, medicine from the doctor because something like bronchitis or a cold or something wouldn't leave on its own. So we had to do something corrective. And so that's what we're talking about today. How do you correct? How do you heal from things? That it may not be medical intervention. It may be where you're healing your heart, you're healing your head, your mind. You're just in the process of realizing that you need to make some changes, and so therefore that would be your healing. So as I always do, I kind of break it down, and so breaking down the word to the letters and what they could represent. For me, the H is for humanity. And between last week and this week, I've really settled on that word, humanity. Good morning, Rhonda. Humanity, talking about humans, talking about people who are like you and I. And even if we don't know each other, the importance of it is just vital. It's vital to the world. You can't live in a world that, all you have are trees and animals that can't talk to you. So the wonderful thing about humanity is that we were given, this opportunity to deal with other humankind, and that's important. So we talk about humanity being, a collective, people, a collective, humans that are mankind. They're man, women, children, people, they're mortals, Homo sapiens, brotherly, kindness, consideration, understanding, sympathy, tolerance, all those are related to being human. Having that compassion for humanity brings forth those things, the goodness of people. From me to you, what can I do? You know, and we've seen inhumane. We certainly know what inhumanity is, but to act it out, most people are conscious enough to say, I'm going to do my best to love my brother and sister. I'm going to do my best. You know, and I know that there's evil in the world. I know that there are people who do not love, who do not find it vitally important to love their neighbor, as the Bible says, as thyself. But a lot of times they put something in front of you to magnify themselves, and you are of no existence. And so we just talk about to really get into the understanding of humanity is not only understanding yourself, but it's also being that you would understand others. And then the next thing for the E of heal is ethical. You know, we want to talk about relating to the moral and the principles of the branch of knowledge dealing with, you know, what is ethical. You know, it's a moral thing. It's a social thing. It's a behavioral thing. You know, I certainly want to look at, you know, me making sure that I'm not immoral, or I'm non-behavioral, or I'm non-social. In my process of my own healing or being, I want to make sure that I certainly show others, you know, my care about them as other human beings. To me, that's vital. It's vital, you know. And so, you know, we always want to get back into the point where we can question those things. The next thing is apathy. And this is a lack of interest and enthusiasm or concern. And I think you probably can relate to some of the things that have gone on within the past weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, has ostensibly shown that there is, in some people, a lack of apathy. They have no concern for others. They have no enthusiasm for others or interest in others, you know, and sometimes they have apathy for themselves. They feel doomed, and therefore everybody else might have gloom and doom. So apathy really talks about one's indifference, their unconcern, their passivity, their detachment, their coolness, their lassitude, and their languor. All of this talks about being apathetic, apathy. Wow. I try not to be there. I try not to settle there. I know some things give us great pause that we should even be concerned, even be invested in life. But to me, even as I'm on my way out of the life, the only life I've known and only life will know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to be apathetic about what I learned while I was here, who I touched while I was here, who I got a chance to love on while I was here, cherish while I was here, appreciate while I was here, you know, look after while I was here. All those things pretty much say that I tried not to live in my apathy. I tried to leave apathy as just something that I know of, but that I'm not involved in. I just don't want to stay there. And the last word for the L of heal would be lenient. And sometimes we need to be lenient. It talks about it's the punishment or a punishment or a person in authority that feels they have the ability to be permissive, merciful, or tolerant. And I like to say that I am a person that is tolerant. You know, everyone, as I said even yesterday, and I've said it before, is that everybody has an opinion, everybody has a position. But if you don't allow for my opinion, then what would I be doing if I didn't allow for your opinion? I think everyone has an opinion, and if you so choose to voice it, then that's good. That's a good thing. But it says to be lenient is also to be merciful, to be clement, to be sparing, to be forbearing, to be tolerant, to be charitable, to be moderate, to be humane, indulgent, sympathetic, compassionate. It says pity, to be liberal, to be soft, to be permissive, and to be easygoing. All those are descriptive words, what it means to be lenient. I want to be lenient to the people that I meet along my life's way. And the reason being is because I might need leniency. There may be something that I did and I need to say I'm sorry for. I need, them to be lenient enough to say that they accept my apology. And it's the same thing that people that go before the court system, and it might have been something minor that they did. However, it still has an attachment of, petty something. It could be larceny or petty, offense. But whatever it is, there might be some reaction to that, some consequences to that. That means they need to go through whatever those consequences are, and in going through that they've learned something from it. And so therefore, the judge or whoever's determining, because it doesn't have to be the judge under the legal system, it could be judge of person, says, hey, look, we're done with that. We're done with that. You put in your time, you've done what you needed to do. I accept whatever, the requirement was that you completed. I remember when we were little kids and we said something wrong at school or even at home, when you had to write whatever it was down 100 times. I will not do such and such a thing. That was our penalty. And so sometimes, but it was probably still lenient than versus me, getting a spanking, getting to be, something taken away from me, put in a corner, or something taken away from me, like my time playing a game or watching TV. That certainly would be, to me, it would be punitive. So I wouldn't want it. So I try to stay out of trouble. But I'm just saying that at some point in time, we want to know that not only do we need leniency from people, but we need to also be lenient. So anyway, those are my areas today, is just looking at healing and how we can address it through the point of being understanding our own humanity and how we need to recognize our brothers and our sisters of being human and certainly being supportive of who they are. Also, it talks about the ethical aspect of something and really looking at the morality of things, the social, the also behavior of being ethical. And that's just looking at what are the principles, fairness, goodness, kindness. Those are what I call the human ethical things, not the ethics that come with you working in a big time job for the government or in a political situation and you have to not be able to cross the line. This is kind of the same thing. You're not crossing the line too, as from from person to person. And so that's how I would assess that. And of course, having apathy is just a way to say that you have no interest in things. You're not trying to condemn anybody or make their lives certainly unpleasant, but you don't also want to be apathetic for yourself, meaning that you're so cool, you're indifferent, you're not interested in anything. That certainly would set you up as being obviously different. And so you want to come on back and be at least, what I'd say, have enough vision and insight to certainly be welcoming to other people, or at least acknowledging them in a positive way and being passive about what you do. It's the same thing like when you see people on the side of the road and you don't know what they've been through to get in that position. But yet and still, your passion for them could be that you actually gave them something, or you said something to them that said, blessings be upon you, and here's a token, hope you can do something with it, whatever it is. But the point is that you're doing something that certainly suggests that you are empathetic instead of having apathy. The other thing is the lamenting, of course, is being just understanding that you are not trying to punish anybody for what they did. You can acknowledge that you're done with it. You're done with what they did, but you're not done with them. Because sometimes people think if you've dismissed what they've done, you've also dismissed them. That's not to say that sometimes the things aren't so egregious that you must end that relationship, but it's just putting you in a position of understanding where you're placed with that individual. And so that would certainly talk about how well you were lenient, and how it affected you and any relationships that you have. The questions for today are, and I hope you have a pen and paper. And listen, I always say this, if you come into this space with me, I appreciate it. But I would absolutely appreciate you even more if you would just go ahead and share it. Share it and let people know that there is somebody out here trying to be, a quiet voice that just supports, the person that they are and the person that they can move to be. I'd like to be the one that escorts you along, even at a distance. But anyway, here's the questions for June 2nd. It says, do you concern yourself with the needs of your brothers and sisters? If so, how do you do it, and how do you show it? How do you do that? If you see somebody in need, do you help them? Be honest. If you never really looked at it like that, or you don't help, or you're not concerned, that's okay. The point is that maybe going forward, you could do that. Question number 2, are you empathetic towards your fellow brothers and sisters? Do you feel an ethical desire to do something for one's needs, or one's in need? Do you? Not to a fault and not to be used, but at least, something to help somebody along that you clearly see and know is not doing as well as you, or as well as they should be doing. You can break it down to the I coming back to you, or you can just leave it right with them. Question number 3, have you become apathetic towards the needs of others? I don't know. Have you been even apathetic towards your own needs? It's like, yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow. You never get to it. And the last question is, can you find leniency toward others? And most of the time I'm speaking in the I, frame. But I just want you to know that we don't live in a world alone. So therefore we need, and hope we have family and friends and lovers, or whatever it is that we need. And that will, what I say, at least support who we are. Regardless of what our flaws are, we still need something. Regardless if we have difficulty even letting it out or letting people know what our needs are, we still need. We still need to love. We still need to be kind. We still need to be what I call trustworthy, and with somebody else's friendship or their love or whatever. We need to put ourselves in those positions. So those are my areas for today, and certainly I hope you would look at how do we heal, and this really came to me as I've gone through, like you, of so many things being on, the news stations of what's going on in our country. And I certainly hope that I am a catalyst to help and not harm, to help people not hurt but heal. And I want to be healed by helping others. That's one way of getting there. Just the fact that you are willing to help and you put yourself in a position to help people heal also fosters the concept of healing. I want you to have a wonderful day. It's been a good day. It's been a good day so far, except the dog got me up at 3:30 this morning because he needed to go out and then took his time trying to come up in here. So, I started to leave him out there, but I didn't. I'm not inhumane. But anyway, you all have a great day. Please share this. Please let people know that you're in the process of whatever your your healing, and that I hope to see you tomorrow on a Wednesday. Don't know my topic yet, but I'll see what the Lord just kind of instills in me, and I will certainly bring it to you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a grand day. Bye bye.